Good morning, everybody. It's been a while. I apologize. Got myself a new job, and I've been working day shift 5 days a week. Getting into trouble for the most part. But Brook Bones Garage is back with a couple of new projects. I know I still have to finish the yellow Ford. I have parts coming in for that as well. Everything that I did order on the last batch was wrong, because I was shopping at Rock Auto at like 3 o'clock in the morning and completely wrong engine. So, other than that, let me reintroduce you to some old builds and the new ones. We have 1962 Plymouth Valiant, baby blue and white, the old shop light, 4-door, 170 slant 6. It's all full of paperwork. This is all old insurance cards and everything from the original owner. A couple of tools, blue steel dash, glove box, ashtray and cigarette lighter. I'm going to try and find the chrome bezel for the car speaker, and the factory radio is missing, but it's all here. I mean, the headliner needs some work. It's begging on the entire car, but you've seen our builds. This is by far the nicest one. I already had the alternator tested. That's bad. No surprise there. The poor little car has been off the road since 2005. But it does have some damage here in the quarter panel. It's right above the tire, so I want to say it may have exploded, delaminated, but this needs to get pushed down, and then this one needs to get pushed in. It did not disrupt the window or the seal, so I got really lucky on that one. And then this rear quarter fender, this peak is supposed to lay flat and touch this. The whole thing just got can opened. But the rear quarter panel is the only thing that's really wrong with the car. All of that on the windows is all like first generation tint peeling, so I need to scrape the entire car. But it's been off the road since 2005. Has the 170 slant 6 that the previous owner said that he was doing 85 in it on the interstate, and all of a sudden it just had no more. Well, 3 push rods are completely missing. The 4th one is over on the hood of the Rambler. It's turned into a little workbench because it's a big flat hood and I need help. But this, I mean, you can just see the warp, and this was the only one that he just didn't throw away. So I'm going to try and take this one to town, just buy the missing ones for now, and then see if I can get the Valiant to start. I have had this car for about 5 days. It was completely set up, completely seized, was parked since 2005, just like this. So the engine is all, rusted, and God knows what's fallen down into it. Like, nothing was covered, nothing was sealed, the hood was never shut. So I'm sure I've got a bunch of contamination in the motor, but, I will address that at a, future point. I need to at least make sure it's running before I start putting some big money into it. But it was completely set up. So I was going to It's not recommended, but I've got a long driveway that has a very shallow slope down to the street. Now I was just going to drop this thing into neutral, get it to roll a little bit, and then pop it to first and see if the transmission could knock the motor loose. So, it's not recommended. There's a lot of torsional forces. You can bend more parts, break more parts, and then you're really up the creek. But I put some PB Blaster on all of the push rods last night, sprayed all of the valves, soaked everything along the entire top of the motor, and then I just sprayed PB down every valve and just let it do its thing. And I got up this morning to a car that does this. So, I'll take it. Now that you show signs of life, I know that the starter's good, the motor's rolling. Now I'm going to go and get the missing 4 valves, valve cover gasket, radiator hose, some new fuel line. I'll clean the spark plugs and all that up. Just give it a bootleg tune up and rebuild just to see if I can get this thing to run off of a gas can. So once I can get it to start and I know it idles, then I'll tear everything apart and buy all new everythings. So until then, the 62 Valiant is getting a budget build, and I mean, just they don't make them like this anymore, But I got one flat tire. I'm going to take that to town and get that replaced. This back tire is just completely separated and delaminating, but it's holding air. It survived about a quarter-mile push down the guy's alleyway and being winched up onto the trailer, getting pushed off the trailer, and rolled all around my yard. This one is in really good shape, but it sat almost up to the hub in a mud pit. And then this one scares the living hell out of me. This is the full-size spare bias that I dug out of the trunk. It was completely imploded, sucked in on itself, and I put some air in it, and surprisingly, it's holding. But I washed it, cleaned it up, vacuumed it out. Yeah, Valiant. So I've got a little bit of, just like surface rust. This whole trunk was lined with rugs and runners and carpet pieces, just a typical old man car. If I have a quart of oil that spills, the carpet will soak it up. Don't touch the metal. But, it all just kind of got parked and forgotten about. So, other than that, I've got an extra piece of chrome, and then up on the roof is the chrome for this tail fin. So I've got a bunch of the missing pieces. I do need to buy brake lenses, but I've just been leaving everything open now that it's been cleaned up, just to let it all air out. But we will be coming back to the Valiant in due time. This new job is just kicking my ass because I am not a morning person. The little 60 AMC American, I I got the cylinder head back from the machine shop, and I mean, I have to admit, I know cars. I am a fairly decent mechanic. I have not had to dabble too much with push rods and keepers and that kind of fun jazz. And once I started putting all of this back together, for the life of me, I cannot get these push rods to line up, sit in their cups. So I just stalled out on this one. I'm going to wait until a friend of mine can come over who knows a lot more about these old AMCs than I do, so I don't mess something up. The 660 Classic, the 65 AMC, the 235 is loose. I hot wired it, ran it off of a gas can. It does fire up. I need a new ignition cylinder. I'm working on the papers at the moment. And then I went up to Phoenix and I found my missing door. So the only thing that the 660 needs is ignition, the rear window, and the trunk deck. So I got the missing brake light housing on eBay, and in the trunk, when I bought the car, it's cracked, but it's here, is my missing lens. So I at least have functionality back. So I need to just get a couple of more bits and pieces for this one. But this is the 235 inline 6 with a Hurst quick shift 3-speed floor console in it. And then on the little maroon Rambler, the trunk got shut and I don't have a lock cylinder in there. So I need a very long flathead screwdriver to go in there and pop the lock. Because in the trunk of that car are the rear shocks for the American and all 4 shocks for the Ford. So this one is running and driving off of a boat tank. But I blew the exhaust manifold gasket back out of it. So I got the new fuel lines delivered. I got to install those. The intake manifold, this is just like what I could salvage. It blew that entire gasket to just powder. But I got a new intake and exhaust manifold gasket for it. I need to get the gasket maker just so I can stick it to the block, because that is about 50 pounds of iron and a little unruly while you're trying to use your thumb to hold a gasket in place. So I got the new fuel line, fuel rail from the tank all the way up to the frame. But all of the brakes are good and everything else is done. I did get a hitch for it. 4 of the 6 mounting bolts line up. The other 2 need to be drilled and tapped. And yes, that is exactly what you think it is. Ignore that. America. But I did find, I went to the local salvage yard and they found a rim and tire. So I have a spare for the truck. I got 2 tires that fit the truck. So I've got repeat shoes and everything just in case, because mind you, these are all the original tires that came on the truck when I bought it from the junkyard, and it's been sitting there since '91. So, you know, just because they're holding air doesn't mean I can make it to the stop sign a quarter-mile down the road without blowing something. So I just grabbed a couple of extras and spares and I got that rim for like 22 bucks with the tire, and then I got those for like $5 a piece on Craigslist. Found a spare fender. This is a 67 F250, and ooh, new brake lenses too. The buddy of mine has got a 1969 or a 70 um, up in Vermont. He slid on black ice, snuck it into a wood-covered bridge, and ended up crushing the entire front clip from the door jamb to halfway to the second lump. So this like entire third of the hood, like everything here is gone. So I found him the fender, the hood hinge, but he needs all of it. And then the spark is already ready to go. It's got the Plymouth's tire in it. And then I found this. That is by far the roughest vehicle that I've gotten a hold of. 67 Ford F100. 240 inline 6 4-speed flare side 8-foot wood bed. So it's got a little, you look down the body line, you can see that it's got something got dropped on it, so that rail is going to have to be pushed back up. But the bed is still mounted, nothing rattles. That was the passenger door, it's not even shut. But I'm going to push this rail up. I'm missing the brake lights. And I do not like this weird rear bumper. It is too, let's get out of the sun. It is too angled. It's not bent, it was designed like this. Angled step sides that mount to the hitch. And it goes full side to side, but it sits flush with the truck bed. So you have no rear protection. So if you got rear-ended, your truck bed and tailgate took the entire load, which, by the way, is missing. So, but the two big tires fit the rear on this truck. Ow, that is really sharp tree. And then that one up there is a 16-inch 5-lug, as well as the spare laying in the yard. I have no need for the 16 5-lugs. They don't fit anything. This truck is a 15-inch tire. So I'm going to take those to the neighbors and see if they fit his cargo van from like the same era. It's early 70s Econoline. But this door's got a hard crunch to it, but it opens, you know, just like butter. But just a white vinyl bench seats, green floor mats, white shag carpet. The 240 is not seized, it does turn by hand. So I might just kind of see exactly what's all missing. I need the carburetor, the radiator, get a new ignition cylinder for it. But what I was thinking is, since they're both 67s, put that big winch bumper on the heavy truck, take that bumper and put it on this truck, pull that bottom flare back out as best I can. Pick up new lenses. I've got a spare set of headlights. It's the original ones from that truck. Those are the Xenon Super Brights. But I can get this one rebuilt, put back together on some secondhand parts. But I'm going to have my garage that I go to for the things I can't handle or just don't feel like dealing with. They will come and tow these and impound them for like 30 days. And then for a little fee, they get the titles from the state for impounding a abandoned vehicle. So I can get the title for this truck, and I can get the title for the 65. So I'm going to have these cleaned up, aired up, rolling and ready to go, and then my garage will come and pick one up at a time, get the title for it, and then sell them back to me. So, but I figured it's been quite a while since I had made an appearance. Let you know what I've been up to, what's been going on. So 65, 67 F100, 67 F250, 65 660 Classic, 1960 American, and the 62 Plymouth Valiant V200. So, that is what I have been up to. That is why I have been gone from YouTube for a while. And hopefully, with this new job, this new salary, we can get the yard back in order. So, until next time, keep it greasy side down, everybody. Catch you later.